So this is really cool. We're going to use Claude to add a Stripe integration to a website. And I've got Nilofer here, who's going to do it in 3 minutes.
I'll try and get through as fast as I can, James. All right, okay. I've been working on a website called Beat Bundle where I'm selling beat samples for folks who might need these for different projects like raps or songs that they're making. I'm selling these samples, and so I'll go ahead and add this lo-fi sample to my cart, and let's go ahead and check out. James, I forgot to build the payments integration. So this is where I'm going to need some help from my friend Claude. So let's go ahead and hop into Claude. And before I get started here, I'm actually going to go and install the Stripe plugin. So I will discover the Stripe plugin and go ahead and install that. And this is our best recommendation. When building a Stripe integration with an agent, we really recommend that you go through our agent setup instructions to be able to build and use a plugin if it's available for the agent that you're using, or at the very least, make sure that you have our skills available to you. Our skills are going to make sure that your agent builds the integration in the best way possible and can guide you down the optimal paths when building this integration. All right, okay, so got that ready to go. I'll reload my plugins. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and ask Claude to build me a payments integration for Beat Bundle.
Now, what's interesting about that is you're just asking in plain English. There's nothing complicated here at all.
There isn't, and you can see I didn't even mention Stripe. And this is how we would expect anybody who is trying to build a new business to come in and work with an agent. You shouldn't necessarily need to know and have made a decision about which payments provider you want, but Stripe is going to give you the best integration possible and work really well with your agent to go ahead and build this. So we can see that Claude did pick up that it had the Stripe skills, and it is going to go ahead and take a look at both that skill and the recommendations that we have given the agent, as well as my code, and try and figure out what type of integration should we build here. So you can see I didn't mention anything about my business model to Claude directly, and hopefully Claude can actually pick up what type of integration would be best for my business, and then ask me if that works here.
How's it doing this? Is it looking at the code for your website?
Yes, exactly. So I'm in the directory of my code, and it's taking a look at the code that's available. The page that I showed you had different beats available that you could add to your cart, and so one-off sort of checkout experiences should definitely be on the table here. But we also want to maybe have subscriptions in the future. So that might be something that this will go ahead and pick up as well. Okay, so we can see here that Claude is actually taking a look and saying, hey, you're going to build with Stripe. We should go ahead and make a sandbox for you. So what happened here was it went through and installed the Stripe CLI. And without authenticating to anything, because remember, I don't have a Stripe integration yet, it went ahead and actually went through and created this Stripe sandbox for me using this new Stripe sandbox create command that is available here. And then it did also say it's gone ahead and made keys for me too. And that will be really helpful for me to actually be able to use this sandbox right away, make real API calls against it without having to have come to Stripe and signed up for anything on my own. All right, okay, so now we can see, it's got the sandbox, it's got the keys, now it's actually building the APIs that are important here. So it's building that checkout API. It did figure out that I might want subscriptions as well, and so it's building that piece for me too. And so hopefully pretty soon here, we're gonna have a real Stripe integration ready to go.
So when you see something like it hitting an error, how confident can you be that the agent's figuring out the solutions that are working around the problem?
Yeah, so Stripe's been around for a while, and we've done some things that should have helped a human along this path for a very long time. We really care about good error messages in our API to help a human that might have hit any of these errors know what that next logical step would have been for them. And we're seeing actually all of that investment and all of that care is paying off for agents as well. So often when it's hitting errors that are related to Stripe, it's getting back an error message that says, hey, this is the error. Here's what you might want to go fix. And that's, when it's hitting some of those things here, hopefully it's picking up those error messages and responding correctly to that. Yeah.
So the agent has worked out the rest of the steps here and essentially following its own path to complete the rest of the integration.
Yeah, exactly. So back in those skills files, we have laid out for all these different types of integrations someone might build. Here are the best ways to do that. And so, checkout and checkout sessions is something that the agent is picking up directly from that skill and building out directly for me here. It's done some things like installing the Stripe SDK and using that correctly. So those skills really help the agent know, aside from just any things that might be in model pre-training, how it should build a Stripe integration for you.
And we didn't say earlier, but what's the difference between a plugin and a skill?
Yeah, so a skill is, you can think of it as just instructions that we're giving to your agent. Plain text, human readable, information on how to do something. And so we have given these skills to our agents to say, this is how you build a one-time checkout integration, or this might be how you build subscriptions. A plugin is a way that we can wrap that skill along with some other goodies for an agent. And so there are different plugins for different agents that exist. And so I installed the Claude plugin. And this also comes with our MCP server. There are many other things that Claude supports in its plugin ecosystem. So we can add things in the future to make it easier for you to build your Stripe integration as that ecosystem continues to mature and evolve.
What was the framework you used to build the web app under the covers here?
Yes, that is a great question. I actually had Claude do a lot of things for me here, James. So I've handed off a lot of those choices directly to Claude. But Claude is able to pick up all the language and frameworks that are available here and match that directly to the languages that Stripe supports and build the right pieces for me. So you can see here, it's writing the right JavaScript that it needs to be able to build this full checkout experience.
We see the compile succeeded there.
All right, I think we're getting close.
We're getting very close here, yeah. And if you were looking at an IDE, can you see all these code changes happening?
You could, yes, yeah, exactly. So you could watch all of these changes happen if you had, the Claude plugin in VS Code or Cursor. All of this would be available to you there as well.
Yeah. Is it able to handle the keys coming back securely so it knows what to do and where to place them?
Yes, exactly. So it's gone ahead and got those keys and then written them out to a different end file for me and stored them securely. So I never saw the key and I can access it if I need to, but it's done the right things for me here.
Yeah.
All right.
Looks like we're very close as it works on wiring up that final step.
Sorry, James, I went over 3 minutes, but we're getting there.
Well, it's interesting because it's still very much faster than doing it yourself, because I think 3 minutes was always going to be a bit of a tough push, but
for sure,
it's better than spending a day figuring it out yourself. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
It's actually fascinating watching the steps as they unfold, because they are largely the sorts of things you'd figure out as a developer, piece by piece.
Exactly. Like, you remember the good old days, James, where you'd run into each of these errors one by one. You fix one, you feel that high, and then you hit something else. And so it's basically, we're just watching Claude do that in real time.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of this used to be going to Stack Overflow with each question, didn't it? So working it out that way.
Okay. All right. So we've come back. Claude's given me a full summary here, saying it has finished all of these things. It's built these one-time payments, subscriptions, it's handling success and failure correctly, and made a bunch of design choices for me following those Stripe best practices. So I'm really glad it went ahead and did that. All right, okay. And then there's a couple of notes it's provided here as well. So you asked about keys. So here are my keys. They're stored securely for me. and they do expire. So we want to make sure that we're handling these keys securely for you as well. So if you don't actually need them after a certain point, we will expire them and rotate them out. And then the other tip it's giving me here is I can actually run a different command, stripe sandbox claim, when I am ready to claim this if I feel really good with this build that I have. So let's go ahead and try this back out now. Let's see here. We might have to restart.
npm run dev is the...
Let's go ahead and open up new shell. All right.
All right. Moment of truth.
Moment of truth. Okay, site's back up. Let's go ahead and add my beat to the cart. Let's see. Well, would you look at that? A handy dandy Stripe checkout page. All right. Okay. So excited to see this work. And let's go ahead and go through a test checkout here. So I'll go ahead and throw in some of our test card numbers here. And go ahead and pay. I like that.
Good.
All right, looks like this has worked successfully. And I checked out with one of my beats. So this all feels really good. I'm excited to have seen this work, but I still haven't visited Stripe yet. So let's go ahead and head back to Claude and go ahead and run that Stripe sandbox claim command like it suggested I do. All right, we'll go ahead. And fill in my password here. Thank you, Stripe, for keeping me secure. All right. And now we can see that I can go ahead and claim this account, claim this new sandbox. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new account. But you can see if I had other Stripe accounts that I wanted to bring this sandbox to, I could do that as well. I'm going to go ahead and make a new business. I'll skip some of this information for now. And you can see actually on that prior step that Stripe already knows that I've got a business that is looking to accept online payments and create subscriptions just based off of the testing that I've already done. All right, so let's go ahead and really confirm that that transaction actually went through. So I can see already actually the gross volume is already there. And if I jump into the transactions page, we can see this test transaction that I did where I bought that lo-fi study session beat. So I've got a full working Stripe integration here, and Claude did almost all of it for me and was able to actually create that sandbox and get me to something working without me having to go and come to Stripe and do any setup first.
Yeah, and it's worth saying we did this in real time. We didn't cut the video anyway, so you got to see exactly the length of time it to put this together, which is incredibly fast. But well, that's fascinating. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. And we look forward to seeing what these tools can do in the future. They're pretty amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you.